My dear brothers and sisters, remember this: every hardship you face is temporary, and no test lasts forever. There comes a time when Allah, in His infinite mercy, begins to ease the burden and reward your patience. One clear sign that your trial is nearing its end is when you begin to see small blessings you had taken for granted. Perhaps a smile from a loved one, a solution to a long-standing problem, or a feeling of peace in your heart where there was once only worry. The second sign is that your faith feels stronger. Even amidst difficulties, you find yourself turning to Allah more often, praying with sincerity, and feeling His closeness in ways you never noticed before. The third sign is the easing of your inner turmoil. Your heart begins to trust that Allah's plan is perfect, and you start seeing the wisdom behind the trials that once weighed heavily upon you. And the fourth sign, my dear friends, is when you feel a renewed strength to continue doing good, helping others, and seeking forgiveness. This is a gift from Allah, showing you that the test has served its purpose and the relief is near. Never despair, for Allah never burdens a soul beyond its capacity, and every hardship carries within it the seed of ease. So hold on to your patience, keep your prayers strong, remain grateful, and trust that Allah's mercy is closer than you think. Relief is coming, and the dawn is never as far as it seems. One of the most beautiful and profound lessons that Islam teaches us is the virtue of patience and the importance of holding on to hope, especially during times of trials and difficulties. Life, as we all know, is not a straight path. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, tests every soul in ways that vary according to our capacity and our own journey. Sometimes these tests are visible, such as financial hardship, illness, or the loss of someone dear. Other times they are subtle, like inner struggles, doubts, or feelings of loneliness and despair. But one thing remains constant. No matter how heavy the burden may feel, it is temporary, and Allah's mercy is always near. Patience, or sabr in Arabic, is not simply about waiting for things to improve. It is an active state of perseverance, a conscious effort to maintain trust in Allah while enduring hardship with dignity and faith. The Quran reminds us, indeed, Allah is with the patient. Al-Baqarah 2:15-3. This is not just a promise. It is a profound truth that Allah's presence becomes a source of strength for those who endure trials with patience. When we are patient, we are not passive. Instead, we are actively choosing to place our trust in Allah, recognizing that He knows what we do not. We remind ourselves that every difficulty carries a lesson, every challenge contains wisdom, and every trial has an end, even if it is not immediately visible to us. Hope is equally essential. As believers, we must never let despair take root in our hearts. No matter how long the night of hardship feels, the dawn is always coming. Allah says in the Quran, "So truly where there is hardship, there is also ease." Al-Inshirah 94:6. This verse reassures us that difficulty is always accompanied by relief, even if the relief is delayed or comes in a form we did not anticipate. Hope allows us to keep moving forward, even when circumstances seem overwhelming. It is the spark that keeps the heart alive, the belief that Allah's mercy is just around the corner, and the faith that every struggle has a purpose beyond what we can see. In practice, patience and hope work together. Patience teaches us to endure, to avoid frustration and anger when tests come, and to maintain our ethical and spiritual standards despite adversity. Hope reminds us that our endurance is not in vain, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that Allah's plan is perfect. When these two qualities combine, they transform hardship into an opportunity for spiritual growth, reflection, and purification. They allow us to turn our suffering into a form of worship, because enduring with patience while maintaining hope is itself beloved to Allah. It is important to recognize that patience does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending that difficulties do not exist. Rather, it is acknowledging the pain, understanding the challenge, and consciously choosing to respond with faith and composure. You may feel weary, anxious, or even hopeless at times, and that is natural. These emotions are human. What matters is that we do not allow despair to dominate our hearts. Instead, we turn to Allah in prayer, seek His guidance, and remind ourselves that He is the most merciful, the most compassionate, and the knower of all that is hidden. By maintaining hope, we keep our hearts alive and open to the possibilities of ease, blessings, and growth that Allah has in store for us. The examples of the prophets in the Quran illustrate this perfectly. Consider Prophet Ayub, Job, who endured immense suffering, losing his family, wealth, and health, yet he never lost hope in Allah's mercy. His patience and steadfast faith ultimately led to relief, restoration, and immense reward. Likewise, the story of Prophet Joseph teaches us that even when we face betrayal, injustice, and imprisonment, maintaining patience and hope can lead to outcomes far beyond our imagination. These stories are not just tales from the past, they are reminders that no matter the difficulty, Allah's help is closer than we think, and relief will come at the perfect time. My dear brothers and sisters, practicing patience and hope is not always easy, especially when life seems unfair or when we cannot see a way forward. But even in the smallest acts, holding on to prayer, making dua, helping someone in need, or maintaining a positive attitude, we strengthen our hearts and build resilience. These acts become sources of light that guide us through the darkness of our trials. Each day we endure with patience. Each moment we choose hope over despair. We are drawing closer to Allah, earning His pleasure, and preparing ourselves for the ease and blessings He has promised. Remember, life's tests are not meant to break us, they are meant to shape us. The more we cultivate patience, the more our hearts become anchored in faith. The more we nurture hope, the more we see Allah's mercy in every aspect of our lives. And as we combine these qualities, we begin to notice the subtle signs of relief, the easing of our hearts, the appearance of solutions, and the blessings we once overlooked. Patience and hope are not merely virtues, they are keys that unlock Allah's mercy and guide us through the storms of life. So never give up, never let despair take root. Trust in Allah's timing, hold on to patience, and keep hope alive in your heart. The test may be long, but relief is near, and when it comes, the joy and gratitude you feel will be multiplied, not only for the ease you receive, but also for the strength you gain through your endurance. One of the most comforting realities in our journey of life is that Allah, in His infinite wisdom, never leaves us in hardship indefinitely. Just as the night gives way to the morning and the storm eventually calms into gentle breezes, so too does the period of difficulty in our lives have a sign, a signal, a moment when relief is about to enter. Recognizing the signs of ease is not merely about looking for material solutions or immediate changes in circumstance. It is about attuning our hearts to the subtle ways in which Allah communicates His mercy and reminds us that our trials are nearing their end. These signs are often gentle, almost imperceptible, but when we learn to notice them with awareness and gratitude, they bring immense reassurance and strengthen our faith. The first sign of ease often manifests as a shift in our perspective, a subtle change in the way we perceive challenges. What once felt overwhelming may start to feel manageable. Problems that seemed insurmountable begin to appear solvable. The heart, which once carried heaviness and anxiety, begins to feel lighter. This is a powerful indication from Allah that He is paving the way for relief. It is His way of preparing our hearts, reminding us that no difficulty lasts forever and that perseverance is being rewarded. Even in moments when the situation has not visibly changed, this inner shift is a profound sign that the test is moving toward its conclusion. Another sign is the appearance of opportunities that were previously absent. Allah may send help through unexpected means, people, or circumstances. Doors begin to open where once there were only walls. Guidance comes in ways that seem miraculous. Solutions arrive just when they are needed, and blessings, both big and small, start to enter your life. These are not coincidences, they are signs from Allah that the end of hardship is approaching. Recognizing these opportunities requires a keen awareness and an attitude of gratitude. Sometimes, people miss these signs because they are too focused on what is still wrong or because their hearts are clouded with despair. The believer, however, sees these moments as messages of hope, reminders that Allah is in control and that relief is near. A third indication that ease is approaching is a newfound clarity and strength in making decisions. During times of trial, we often feel confused, overwhelmed, and uncertain about what path to take. But as the period of difficulty begins to shift, Allah grants us wisdom and clarity. We may find ourselves thinking more calmly, acting with more confidence, and feeling guided in our choices. This is a sign that our hearts are being prepared to receive the blessings that follow hardship. It is also a reminder that Allah never burdens a soul beyond its capacity. And even in moments of uncertainty, He is guiding us toward ease, providing direction in ways that may not be immediately obvious. Another subtle but powerful sign is the strengthening of relationships. During trials, sometimes people distance themselves, and loneliness can feel overwhelming. Yet, as relief approaches, we often notice renewed connections with friends, family, or community members. Support begins to appear in forms we might not have expected, and we may find that the people who truly care are standing by us. These signs are a reflection of Allah's mercy and a reminder that He surrounds us with helpers and blessings, even when we cannot immediately see them. It is important to recognize and cherish these moments, as they indicate that the test is nearing its end and that the period of support and ease is beginning. At times, the signs of ease also come in the form of emotional and spiritual shifts. Anxiety may lessen, fear may begin to fade, and a sense of peace may slowly enter the heart. These are not coincidences, they are gifts from Allah, signaling that the storm is passing and that relief is on the horizon. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances, it comes from Allah's presence within the heart. When we notice this change, we should hold on to it, nurture it through prayer, gratitude, and continued reliance on Allah, because it is a sign that our patience has been recognized and that the reward of ease is approaching. It is also essential to reflect on past trials and how they were resolved. Often, Allah's signs of ease mirror patterns from previous experiences where relief followed hardship. By remembering how previous difficulties were lifted, the believer gains hope and reassurance that the current test will also conclude with mercy. This reflection strengthens faith and allows the heart to remain resilient, reminding us that Allah is always faithful to His promises. My dear brothers and sisters, these signs of ease are subtle, gentle, and sometimes easily overlooked, but they are profound reminders of Allah's mercy. They teach us that no test is permanent, no hardship is endless, and no heart that remains steadfast in patience and faith is left without reward. By being attentive to these signs, we not only recognize the approaching relief, but also cultivate gratitude, strengthen our connection to Allah, and prepare ourselves to receive the blessings that follow. So, as you navigate your challenges, open your heart to these signals of ease. Look for the small victories, the moments of clarity, the subtle shifts in your spirit, and the unexpected support around you. Trust that Allah is guiding you toward relief, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Relief is coming, and with awareness, patience, and gratitude, you will recognize it when it arrives. Your test is ending, and your reward is on the horizon. One of the most profound and transformative practices a believer can cultivate is gratitude, even in the midst of hardship. Life, by its very nature, presents trials and challenges, and while it is human to feel pain, frustration, or sorrow during difficult times, Islam teaches us that gratitude is not limited to moments of ease and abundance. True gratitude is a conscious choice to recognize the blessings in our lives regardless of the surrounding circumstances. It is a recognition that every trial carries wisdom, every difficulty holds a hidden benefit, and that Allah's mercy surrounds us even when we cannot immediately perceive it. When we face hardship, our hearts naturally focus on what is missing or what has gone wrong. Perhaps we have lost a loved one, struggled financially, faced illness, or endured betrayal. These experiences can weigh heavily on our hearts and minds, and it is easy to fall into despair. But the practice of gratitude in hardship shifts our perspective. Instead of allowing pain to dominate our vision, gratitude encourages us to notice the aspects of our lives that remain intact, the small blessings that continue to exist, and the subtle signs of Allah's mercy that surround us daily. It is in this awareness that the believer begins to transform suffering into spiritual growth. The Quran reminds us repeatedly of the importance of gratitude, even in the face of challenges. Allah says, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor." Ibrahim 14:7. This verse is remarkable because it applies universally. Gratitude is not conditional on ease or comfort. It is a quality that, when practiced sincerely, brings blessings even amidst trials. Gratitude does not eliminate difficulties, but it allows us to face them with a heart anchored in faith, trust, and hope. By acknowledging the blessings we still possess, whether it is our health, the ability to breathe, the provision of sustenance, or the love of family and friends, we open the door for Allah's continued mercy and guidance. One of the profound ways gratitude manifests in hardship is by helping us reframe the purpose of our trials. Difficulties are not meaningless, they are opportunities for growth, purification, and spiritual elevation. Hardship teaches patience, strengthens character, and draws us closer to Allah. When we are grateful for the lessons embedded within our challenges, we begin to see our struggles not as punishments, but as gifts in disguise. Each moment of discomfort becomes a chance to refine our hearts, to release attachment to worldly comforts, and to cultivate reliance upon Allah. The believer who practices gratitude sees hardship not as an end, but as a bridge toward greater strength and deeper connection with the Creator. Gratitude also transforms our relationship with ourselves and others during trying times. When we recognize the blessings we still possess, our hearts become lighter and we are less likely to succumb to resentment, envy, or bitterness. We begin to appreciate the support of family, friends, and community, and we become more inclined to give back, help others, and share what we have. This outward expression of gratitude amplifies its impact, creating a cycle of goodness and mercy that benefits both ourselves and those around us. A grateful heart during hardship is not a passive heart. It is active, resilient, and full of faith. Moreover, gratitude in the face of adversity strengthens our reliance on Allah. When we acknowledge that every blessing, every moment of ease, and even every challenge comes from Him, we cultivate a sense of trust in His wisdom and timing. This trust brings peace to our hearts. Even when circumstances are uncertain or difficult, it allows us to pray with sincerity, seek guidance with humility, and maintain hope even when the path seems unclear. Gratitude acts as a shield against despair and negativity. It is a reminder that Allah is always near, that His plans are perfect, and that every difficulty carries a lesson meant for our ultimate good. It is important to note that gratitude does not mean suppressing our emotions or denying the reality of pain. Feeling sadness, frustration, or grief is natural and human. Islam does not demand that we ignore these feelings. Rather, it calls on us to balance our emotions with recognition of Allah's blessings and mercy. We can mourn, we can cry, and we can feel the weight of our struggles. But we can also consciously choose to say, Alhamdulillah, for what remains in our lives, for the lessons we are learning, and for the mercy that surrounds us even in the darkest moments. The practice of gratitude also brings perspective. When we compare our lives to those who are truly less fortunate, we often realize how much we have to be thankful for, even amidst our trials. This perspective softens the heart, reduces complaints, and nurtures contentment. It reminds us that our suffering, though real and significant, is accompanied by blessings that we might otherwise overlook. Each small blessing, a roof over our heads, food on the table, moments of health, the ability to worship, or even the simple capacity to breathe, is a reason to be grateful. And each reason to be grateful is a reminder that relief is on the way. Finally, gratitude in hardship connects us directly to Allah. It strengthens our faith, reinforces our patience, and opens our hearts to His guidance. When we cultivate this habit, we begin to notice signs of ease, opportunities for growth, and moments of mercy that might otherwise go unnoticed. Gratitude transforms the heart, turning pain into a catalyst for spiritual elevation, and making even the most difficult trials a source of hope and joy. My dear brothers and sisters, never underestimate the power of gratitude, especially during hardship. Practice it consistently, even in the smallest ways, and watch how it transforms your perspective, your heart, and your relationship with Allah. A grateful heart in the midst of trials is a heart full of faith, patience, and hope. A heart that will witness Allah's mercy, feel His nearness, and experience the relief that comes after every test. Hold on to gratitude, for it is a key that opens the doors of ease and a light that guides us through the darkness of difficulty. One of the greatest challenges in life is waiting. Waiting for relief, waiting for solutions, waiting for justice, or waiting for our prayers to be answered. In moments of difficulty, the human heart often struggles with impatience, questioning why hardship continues or why relief has not yet arrived. Yet Islam teaches us that the timing of every event, every blessing, and every challenge in our lives is perfectly orchestrated by Allah. His wisdom is absolute, and His timing is flawless, even when we do not understand it. Faith in Allah's timing is not merely a passive acceptance of circumstance. It is a profound trust that Allah's plan is perfect, that every trial has a purpose, and that every moment of delay carries within it mercy and wisdom. The heart of this faith lies in understanding that Allah is Al-Khabir, the all-aware, and Al-Hakim, the all-wise. He knows what we do not, and He sees the full picture of our lives, past, present, and future. What may seem like delay, injustice, or misfortune to us is often part of a greater plan that we cannot yet perceive. By placing our trust in His timing, we align ourselves with His wisdom, finding peace even when circumstances are confusing or challenging. This trust is not easy. It requires patience, reflection, and surrender of the ego, which often wants immediate answers and immediate solutions. But those who cultivate faith in Allah's timing discover a profound sense of calm and resilience because they recognize that every event is unfolding according to divine wisdom. Faith in timing also helps us navigate disappointment. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we expect. We make plans, set goals, and pray for certain outcomes. But Allah, in His infinite knowledge, may have a better path in store. Sometimes our desires are delayed because Allah is protecting us from what may harm us, or He is preparing us for a greater blessing that we cannot yet see. The Quran reminds us of the story of Prophet Joseph, who endured betrayal, false accusations, and imprisonment. To the human eye, it seemed that his life was full of suffering and injustice. Yet, because he maintained his faith and trust in Allah's timing, he eventually rose to a position of power and honor, and all the delays and trials he endured served a greater purpose in Allah's plan. This story is a timeless reminder that patience and trust in divine timing can transform apparent setbacks into extraordinary triumphs. Another aspect of faith in timing is understanding that relief and success often come when we are spiritually and emotionally ready to receive them. Allah, in His wisdom, knows the state of our hearts better than we do. Relief may be delayed until we have gained the patience, humility, and insight necessary to handle the blessings we have asked for. Sometimes, if ease were to come too soon, we might misuse it, take it for granted, or fail to appreciate its value. By trusting Allah's timing, we accept that every delay has a lesson, every pause in our journey has a purpose, and every moment of waiting is an opportunity for growth, reflection, and preparation. Faith in timing also strengthens our connection with Allah through worship and reliance. When we recognize that every moment is part of a divine schedule, we turn to Him with renewed sincerity, asking for guidance, seeking patience, and praising Him even in moments of difficulty. Our prayers are no longer solely about immediate solutions. They become a means of building a deeper relationship with the Creator. We learn to trust that our dua, our effort, and our patience are all seen and valued, and that relief will come when the time is perfect. This mindset transforms waiting from a source of anxiety into an act of devotion, a demonstration of love, trust, and submission to Allah's will. Furthermore, faith in timing helps us appreciate the beauty of life's rhythms. Just as nature has cycles, the rising and setting of the sun, the changing of the seasons, the ebb and flow of the tides, so too does life operate according to divine timing. There are moments of hardship and moments of ease, periods of struggle and periods of blessing. By accepting these cycles and placing our trust in Allah's timing, we develop resilience, gratitude, and a sense of balance. We learn to celebrate moments of ease and to endure periods of trial with hope and patience, knowing that nothing is permanent except Allah's mercy. It is also important to remember that faith in timing does not mean passivity or inaction. We are required to make effort, to seek solutions, and to strive toward our goals. Yet, even in our striving, we acknowledge that the results are ultimately in Allah's hands. We act with sincerity, diligence, and wisdom while trusting that He will bring about the outcomes at the perfect moment. This balance between effort and reliance, between action and trust, is the essence of true faith in Allah's timing. My dear brothers and sisters, cultivating this faith transforms the way we experience life's challenges. It teaches us patience, nurtures hope, and provides peace in the face of uncertainty. Every test, every delay, every moment of difficulty carries within it a sign that relief is near, that mercy is coming, and that Allah's plan is unfolding in perfect order. By trusting His timing, we align our hearts with His wisdom, and we find comfort in knowing that nothing is wasted, nothing is forgotten, and nothing is beyond His control. So, hold on to this faith. Be patient, continue your worship, maintain your good deeds, and trust that Allah's timing is perfect. Every hardship has a purpose, every delay carries wisdom, and every trial will eventually give way to ease. Your test is not permanent, and the relief Allah has promised is approaching. In the meantime, trust, persevere, and let your heart rest in the certainty of His perfect timing. One of the most beautiful principles in Islam is that no act of goodness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. In times of hardship, it can be tempting to withdraw, to feel that our efforts are insignificant, or that our prayers, charity, and deeds will not make a difference. Yet, it is precisely during these moments of struggle that continuing in good deeds becomes not only important, but transformative. Every act of worship, every kind word, every charitable effort, and every moment spent in remembrance of Allah has a weight, a purpose, and a reward that we may not fully see in this life, but which is recognized and multiplied by Allah in ways beyond our imagination. Hardship has a unique way of testing our character, our patience, and our commitment to Allah. It is easy to remain obedient and generous when life is comfortable, when blessings flow freely, and when our hearts are light. The true test, however, is maintaining our good deeds when circumstances are difficult, when our energy is low, or when our hope feels distant. These are the moments that define us, that shape our faith, and that draw us closer to Allah. The Quran reminds us that those who persevere in righteousness despite trials will be rewarded with an unparalleled and everlasting reward. It says, "And whoever does righteous deeds, whether male or female, while being a believer, those will enter paradise and will not be wronged, even as much as the speck on a date seed." An-Nisa 4:12-4. This is a profound reminder that no act of goodness, no matter how small, is insignificant in the eyes of Allah. Continuing in good deeds during hardship has multiple benefits, both seen and unseen. Spiritually, it strengthens our connection to Allah and reinforces our faith. It acts as a shield against despair, reminding us that we are not powerless and that our efforts have meaning. Every prayer we offer, every Quranic verse we recite, every act of charity we perform, and every kind word we speak becomes a source of light that illuminates the heart during difficult times. These actions remind us that even in the midst of trials, we have the ability to contribute positively to the world, to maintain our dignity, and to earn Allah's pleasure. Furthermore, good deeds during trials serve as a form of ongoing support for ourselves. Just as a small candle provides light in darkness, each act of goodness creates a ripple of blessings, easing the weight of hardship. Helping others, showing kindness, or giving in charity not only benefits those around us, but also brings inner relief, contentment, and hope. It is as if Allah is saying that even when life feels heavy, every effort to do good is recognized, multiplied, and returned to us in ways that we may not immediately see. This realization encourages perseverance and reminds us that our deeds are never in vain, even when results are delayed. Importantly, continuing in good deeds during hardship is also a means of cultivating resilience and character. Life's tests are not random. They are designed to refine us, to purify our hearts, and to bring us closer to Allah. By persisting in righteousness, even when it is difficult, we demonstrate our faith, strengthen our moral fiber, and show trust in Allah's plan. These acts of consistency, small or large, become evidence of our patience, humility, and devotion. Over time, they build a foundation of spiritual strength that allows us to face future challenges with greater courage and confidence. Acts of worship and kindness during hardship also have a profound effect on those around us. When others see us maintaining good character, being patient, and acting with integrity, it inspires hope, courage, and faith. Our perseverance becomes a silent but powerful testimony to Allah's guidance and mercy. A smile offered to someone in difficulty, a comforting word to a friend in pain, or a moment of charity to someone in need can create waves of goodness far beyond what we imagine. These actions remind us that even in hardship, our lives can be a source of light, compassion, and positive influence. It is also essential to remember that Allah's rewards are beyond what the eye can see and the mind can measure. Every act of goodness performed sincerely for His sake carries immense spiritual value. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that even the smallest act, such as removing a harmful object from a pathway or offering a kind word, is counted as a good deed in the sight of Allah. During hardship, when our energy or resources may feel limited, these small actions take on greater significance because they are undertaken with effort, sincerity, and intention despite difficulty. This demonstrates that Allah values not just the act itself, but the perseverance, intention, and faith behind it. My dear brothers and sisters, maintaining good deeds during trials is also an investment in the future. It is a declaration that our faith is unwavering, that our hope in Allah is alive, and that our hearts remain aligned with His guidance. No hardship can erase the value of our righteous actions, and every moment we spend in worship, prayer, charity, or kindness strengthens our spiritual standing and brings us closer to ultimate relief and reward. So, hold firm to your deeds. Continue your prayers, your supplications, your acts of charity, and your kindness to others, even when life is difficult. Let your heart remain connected to Allah, and let your actions reflect your faith, patience, and trust. Every good deed you perform is a seed that Allah will nurture, multiply, and return to you in ways that surpass your imagination. Relief is coming, your test is ending, and every act of goodness you maintain now will shine as a source of reward, mercy, and blessing in the days to come. Never underestimate the power of perseverance in righteousness, for it is through these actions that hearts are strengthened, trials are eased, and Allah's mercy is manifested. One of the most powerful tools Allah has given us during times of trial is the ability to reflect. Reflection allows us to step back from the chaos of our lives, to examine our hearts and actions, and to seek ways to grow closer to Allah. Hardships, though painful and challenging, are not meant to break us. There are opportunities for deep self-assessment, spiritual refinement, and personal transformation. When we pause to reflect on our experiences, we begin to understand the wisdom behind our trials, recognize our strengths and weaknesses, and identify areas where we can improve. This process of reflection is essential because it allows us to turn suffering into a catalyst for self-improvement and lasting change. Reflection begins with the heart. It requires honesty, humility, and a willingness to face ourselves without excuses or blame. When we encounter difficulties, it is natural to ask, "Why me?" or to focus on the injustice of our circumstances. Yet Islam teaches us to go deeper than this surface-level questioning. Reflection encourages us to ask, what can I learn from this trial? How can I grow spiritually and morally from this experience? By shifting our focus in this way, we transform trials from sources of despair into opportunities for growth. Every hardship carries a lesson, whether it is patience, gratitude, empathy, resilience, or reliance upon Allah. Those who reflect deeply during hardship begin to uncover these lessons and apply them to their lives, emerging stronger and wiser than before. Self-improvement in the context of hardship is not merely about avoiding sin or performing good deeds mechanically. It is about nurturing the heart and soul. Reflection allows us to recognize patterns in our behavior, understand our weaknesses, and consciously work to correct them. Perhaps we notice that we have been impatient, quick to anger, or overly dependent on worldly solutions. Perhaps we discover that our gratitude has been lacking, or that we have neglected certain acts of worship. By identifying these areas for growth, we can take practical steps to strengthen our character, deepen our faith, and cultivate virtues that will serve us not only in this life, but in the hereafter. Hardships also provide a unique opportunity for self-improvement because they strip away distractions and force us to confront what truly matters. When life is smooth and easy, it is easy to become complacent, to take blessings for granted, and to neglect spiritual responsibilities. Trials, however, focus the heart. They remind us of our dependence on Allah, the temporary nature of worldly comforts, and the need to seek eternal success. In this concentrated space of challenge, reflection becomes even more powerful, allowing us to reevaluate our priorities, correct our mistakes, and redirect our energy toward actions that have lasting value. Reflection also deepens our empathy and compassion. As we examine our own struggles and the lessons we are learning, we become more attuned to the suffering of others. Hardship teaches us humility, patience, and sensitivity, qualities that cannot always be developed in ease. By reflecting on our experiences, we are better able to comfort, support, and uplift those who are facing similar trials. This outward expression of growth not only benefits others, but also reinforces our own spiritual and emotional development, creating a cycle of goodness and mercy. It is also important to pair reflection with action. True self-improvement is not passive. It requires applying the insights gained from reflection in practical ways. For example, if we notice that a trial has revealed our impatience, we can consciously practice patience in daily interactions. If we recognize areas where we have been neglectful of worship or good deeds, we can take deliberate steps to improve. Reflection without action is like studying a map without ever embarking on the journey. It is understanding without transformation. The combination of honest reflection and deliberate action is what turns hardship into a profound tool for spiritual and personal growth. Furthermore, reflection helps us to maintain hope and perspective. When we take the time to examine our challenges, we often discover that what once seemed overwhelming is part of a larger plan. We begin to see how past trials have shaped us, prepared us for future blessings, and strengthened our connection to Allah. This understanding instills hope, reduces fear and anxiety, and allows us to face ongoing trials with resilience and faith. By consistently engaging in reflection, we cultivate an awareness that our struggles are not meaningless, that they are temporary, and that they carry within them the seeds of ease, blessing, and reward. Reflection and self-improvement also encourage a deeper sense of accountability and mindfulness. When we pause to evaluate our actions, intentions, and choices, we become more conscious of how we spend our time, how we treat others, and how we prioritize our relationship with Allah. This mindfulness fosters a sense of responsibility for our spiritual and moral development, reminding us that every moment is an opportunity to grow, learn, and draw closer to the Creator. My dear brothers and sisters, hardship is not only a test of endurance, it is also a mirror, reflecting back to us areas of growth and potential for transformation. By reflecting sincerely and committing to self-improvement, we turn trials into a means of purification, preparation, and empowerment. Every difficulty can become a stepping stone towards stronger faith, better character, and a deeper connection with Allah. Relief is approaching, and the lessons we glean now will prepare us to appreciate that ease fully and to use it wisely. So, take the time to reflect, examine your heart, and seek ways to improve. Let your experiences shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate believer. Hardship is temporary, but the growth it inspires can last a lifetime. Use this time to refine your character, strengthen your faith, and prepare yourself to embrace the blessings that Allah has promised. Your reflection and self-improvement today are investments in your spiritual, emotional, and moral future, and through them you will emerge from trials not only relieved but transformed. As we reflect on the journey of trials and tests, remember this: hardship is not the end. It is a step along the path that Allah has designed for you. Every moment of patience, every act of gratitude, every good deed, and every reflection on your heart is being recorded, valued, and multiplied in ways beyond our comprehension. The signs of ease are already around you, perhaps in small blessings, subtle shifts in your heart, or opportunities that Allah has placed in your path. Relief is coming, and Allah's mercy is closer than you think. Do not lose hope, do not despair, and do not neglect the power of your faith, your prayers, or your actions. Continue to hold on to patience, nurture hope in your heart, and trust in Allah's perfect timing. Keep doing good even when it feels difficult, and use these trials as a mirror to reflect, improve, and grow spiritually. Every test is temporary, and every trial carries within it a seed of ease and reward. So stand firm, remain steadfast, and open your heart to the signs that your hardships are ending. Embrace the lessons learned, cherish the strength you have gained, and prepare to receive the blessings Allah has promised. Relief is near, your test is not in vain, and the dawn is coming. Allah is with you, Allah sees you, and Allah's mercy will never abandon those who trust in Him. Alhamdulillah for every trial, and Alhamdulillah for the ease that is on its way.